Hello again, everyone. Edwin Leonard back once again. In this YouTube astrological segment, I'm going to be dissertating and talking about zodiac or astrological sign compatibility between Virgo and Scorpio, and yes, it does apply and pertain to the sun, moon, and ascendant for both people. Well, anyway, they are two signs apart. They are sextile by sign, so this is indication of a compatible match. They're both feminine signs, suggesting introversion and privacy over gregariousness and extroversion. A Scorpio can be very mysterious and secretive, and they often thrive and enthralled with solitude and seclusion, as they are very private and they don't like their personal business being divulged. And Virgos can be very shy, reticent. They generally prefer more introverted activities as opposed to outdoors. So I think you have a very foundation here for compatibility, a good foundation, I should say. And the thing about it is, though, you have you have Virgo, which is very strongly analytical and can really has ability to understand and analyze others very well. However, Scorpio can be very complex and complicated, and that would be a vast understatement. So Virgo may be able to analyze Scorpio to some degree and probably can go deeper than the average, than most of the other signs can, but may never completely decipher Scorpio completely or figure out Scorpio, because Scorpio can be very cryptic and very hard to understand. But Scorpio likes getting to the bottom of things, and they could be very enamored and infatuated with mysteries. Virgo's analysis, these two people can make a good team in solving mysteries, because Virgo has the great ability to analyze things, and they could spot objects that a lot of other people would be oblivious to. And Scorpio knows how to dig very deep into mysteries, and they both have that a strong ability. When they work together, they could both collaborate, I think, very well on getting to the bottom of something and deducing a mystery. So this could be something that they may both enjoy, mystery movies and things of that nature. And I think when I look at these two signs, though, you look at Scorpio being a fixed sign. Virgo is a mutable sign. If any argument were to ever ensue between these two people, Scorpio would likely be the one that would not be willing to give in, and Virgo would have to probably give in more often than not. As far as in the bedroom goes, well, Scorpio to me, is the most sexual sign of the zodiac and can be very erotic, very passionate. And you have Virgo, who on the outside superficially will not really appear very demonstrative or sensual, and doesn't show this side readily in front of others, but they could be more sensual and demonstrative than what they're willing to show. And I think Scorpio has that ability to just push the right buttons on Virgo and be able to bring that stronger erotic side out of Virgo. And Scorpio certainly couldn't complain about the consistency and reliability of Virgo, because Virgo can be very reliable, and Virgo certainly couldn't complain about the Scorpio's sexual ability in as far as appeasing Virgo. So I think those are some things to look at in this compatibility as well. Another thing, what's interesting is that when you look at two signs and their compatibility, even the most favorable compatible matchups, they can still have things that can be negative. For example, like with Virgo and Scorpio, you could have Virgo that could be very inquisitive and question asking, and you have Scorpio that can be probing. And the thing is, even though they have this commonality, they're similar that way. The one, it could work to their detriment, and because Virgo could be very inquisitive, and being so, it might not be positive for Scorpio, because Scorpio generally is not one that likes to divulge a lot of information. And if this is in the initial stages of a relationship, it could be to Virgo's detriment. And if Scorpio is too probing to Virgo, Virgo may be rebuffed and be taken aback by that, because Virgo can be very shy. And that could be also would apply to divulging or disclosing their private information. So you have these things where it could actually work to their detriment, even though they have that commonality. And the thing about this, though, is overall I see this as a very compatible match in these two. And I think just initially you might have both these people being very reluctant and reserved and divulging a lot of information, given the fact that Virgo is shy and Scorpio could be very secretive and mysterious. You have another thing which could be a negative for these people is that sometimes Virgo can be very wordy and very verbose, and you look at Scorpio can be more direct and can get right to the point. Scorpio can be very cutting, sometimes very incisive. And really, the thing is, you have to look at that as a disparity, because Scorpio might be a little bit rebuffed by Virgo going on, maybe using more words than is necessary. And Scorpio just likes to get right to the point, I think, in a lot of instances. So anyway, well, it's also important to look at the aspect, if any, that is made between the energies of these people, as this could indicate perhaps even greater compatibility than otherwise indicated, or maybe a little bit less compatibility than otherwise indicated. Let's say, for example, you have a sextile aspect between these people. Let's say that one person has the sun, moon, or ascendant in Virgo at 15 degrees. And the other person has the sun, moon, or ascendant in Scorpio at 12 degrees. Well, that would form a sextile aspect. They're already sextile by sign, but if you have a sextile aspect, that could be positive and auspicious, and it could also accentuate the compatibility that already exists between these two by zodiac sign. You could also have a semi-sextile aspect take place between the energies of these people. Now, let's say, for example, one person has the sun, moon, or ascendant at Virgo at 29 degrees, and the other person has the sun, moon, or ascendant in Scorpio at 0 degrees. I would consider that, well, it's slightly auspicious or slightly positive. It's like the sextile, but it's not as strong or intense because it is a minor aspect as opposed to a major one. However, they are still sextile by sign, so you still have very strong compatibility between these two people. Now, however, you could also have an out of sign square aspect take place between the energies of these people. Let's say, for example, one person has the sun, moon, or ascendant in Virgo at 1 degree, and the other person has the sun, moon, or ascendant in Scorpio at 29 degrees. That could be considered adverse or adversarial, and you might have, because it's a square aspect, you might have a few more challenges and obstacles than otherwise indicated by as far as the general compatibility reading goes. However, they are still sextile by sign. They are compatible by sign, so you still have to factor that into the equation as well. Now, you could also have a semi-square aspect take place between the energies of these people. Let's say, for example, one person has the sun, moon, or ascendant in Virgo at 20 degrees, and the other person has the sun, moon, or ascendant in Scorpio at 5 degrees. Well, I call that slightly adverse or adversarial. It's a negative aspect, but it's not as strong. It's like the square, but not as strong or as intense as the square, because it is a minor aspect. And yes, you still factor into the equation that they are still sextile by sign. They are still compatible by sign, Virgo and Scorpio. So they're still compatible in as far as the general interpretation goes. Well, anyway, people, that'll conclude this YouTube astrological segment for zodiac sign compatibility between Virgo and Scorpio. And stay tuned next time, where I'll be dissertating and talking about zodiac sign compatibility between Virgo and Sagittarius. Two things I want to get with you on before I head out. Firstly, the stars may impel but do not compel. And secondly, never isolate any single astrological element, aspect, planetary placement, position, configuration, influence, or what have you, and make an analysis of a person, astrologically speaking, based on this alone. Because astrologically speaking, the person is the sum of all their components in their natal chart and not just one. Until next time, people, stay well.